Here's the code I'll be using in this video. And this tutorial is on how to musty up the wall. And later on it's how to musty up the wall to the ceiling. To start with all of these tutorials you need very good mechanics. I've got tutorials on how to improve them, but they're quite old and I'm sure there's better ones out there. But I'll be making a new one next week hopefully. You also need a very good air dribble for this mechanic. If you don't have a good air dribble, then I would work on it. Having closer camera settings can help a lot of people with air dribbles. It might not help you. So go into free play and start doing musties on the floor like shown now, and make sure it's not just a normal musty, make sure it's actually mustying off the floor. Your car needs to be 90 degrees so your car can actually musty. If it's under 90 degrees it will then just backflip, it won't do a normal musty. Now do the musty going up the wall. Make sure your flip cancels on the wall and it pops off with the cancel, as shown now on the screen. Make sure you do the musty on the floor before you go up the curve on the wall. If you do it on the curve, your car won't go up the wall properly and it will just backflip. I'll show errors later on in the video and you'll see why you don't do a musty on the curve part, so make sure you do it before the curve where shown now. Now let's go into the pack and shot one of the pack. The code is at the start or it's on the screen now. Just pause the video and let's go. Go to shot 2 if you prefer the other wall, but to be honest this shot doesn't really matter which wall you do. Start by boosting the ball forwards and then braking. It's a tiny bit like the cooks a pinch if you know what I mean, but just practice doing this shown now on the screen. After the brake, boost into the musty on the floor and make sure it's going up the wall, so do it before the curve as shown a few slides back. The back of your car needs to hit the ball here on the wall. Any lower is not good and any higher isn't good either. I'll show some errors in a bit. Here's another angle of me hitting the ball in the perfect place, and make sure you're hitting the ball here as well, as it is good. With this angle you can see how the musty uncancelling helps knocking the ball outfield and upwards. This is vital for a good one of these shots. I'll now show some common errors that you might be doing and hopefully adjust it so it works better. This happens when the ball is not high enough on the wall. This happens when the ball is not rolling up the wall. This happens when the car is not 90 degrees on the musty, so it just backflips. This is doing the musty too late. This is when your car is not central on the ball. The back of your car needs to be central on the ball when going up the ball, like shown on screen now. This happens when the ball is too high on the wall when you do the musty, so it just doesn't hit the back of your car and hits the front of it. You may be seeing some top players doing this mechanic like I've shown in the errors, but just trust me on this one, it's much easier with boost management and in general to do the way I've shown it, not the errors, because it's a lot harder with boost and doesn't look cleaner in general, so don't do those. Getting the air dribble is hard with this shot, but I recommend this workshop map to improve it. Or if you can't have workshops, just practice air dribbles in free play. It's just repetition to get good air dribbles. Now for cam work, my cam is in the bottom left hand corner of the screen, and cam work isn't too important on this shot, but it does make it a bit cleaner on the finishes, and it can help you get into clans. The big thing is that you need to be patient on this shot because it's a hard mechanic to do and it will take time to perfect, and when you get one of them you'll start getting more and more, so just be patient. And yeah. As for any of these videos, if you have any questions or any worries, just ask me below. I'll answer every single comment and I'll try and answer in my best of my ability, and good luck on this. So that's the end of this part of the tutorial. I'll show the sub to me section, then we'll go on to the musty up the wall to the ceiling. But it's a bit harder, but I'll explain when we get on to that part. I'm going to pause the video here to say that 91% of you aren't subscribed to the channel. So if you could go down below, hit the bell and sub to the channel, it would be greatly appreciated. I do weekly tutorials and general videos on Rocket League, and it would just mean a lot if you subbed and liked my videos, and hopefully see you in the future ones. Now to the second part, where it's the musty to ceiling tutorial. This one's a lot harder than the one before. You'll be using the same pack as before. You don't need more speed to go to the ceiling, but it could help a bit having more speed before you do the musty up the wall. You need a lot better mechanics to do this than the shot before, so make sure your mechanics are very good. I recommend this rings map a lot to improve mechanics. You also need a lot better air dribbles for this shot, because of going to the ceiling obviously. And I recommend doing this workshop map, Air Dribble Gauntlet. This is my favourite one. Being able to turtle to ceiling helps so much, so I recommend learning this first before doing the musty to ceiling. You need to be able to gain height on air dribbles, so here's advice to improve height on them for console and PC. If you're PC, use Air Dribble Challenge. Or use Shot 8 on the Air Dribble Gauntlet. This is Shot 8 on Air Dribble Gauntlet, and it's basically just air dribbling upwards, but it's easier to do this than the Air Dribble Challenge in my opinion. If your console, practice getting height off pogos, or do turtle to ceilings, either one, but the pogo one helps more. Hitting more centre of the back of the car when you're going up the wall makes it a lot easier because it makes the ball go higher. Having around 2 touches going to the ceiling is very good at first, 2 or 3 at first, then later on go to 1 as you'll improve it a lot. I'd recommend learning without spins at first, then going 2 spins when you've mastered it without. This can help a lot with progress to it. The second you come off the wall, start boosting to the ball and hit the very bottom of it. You want to hit the ball whilst it's still rising, not when it's dropping, because when it's dropping it's a lot harder to gain height, and when it's still rising it's easier to gain height. And this shot is very hard, so be patient, and it won't take hours, it will take days probably, so keep grinding it and it will come eventually. Mastering the setup and being able to gain height for air dribble is the most important stuff to learn, especially the air dribble part. For cam work, the cam's at the bottom corner of the screen, and cam work's good because it helps you join clans and makes the clip cleaner. Any questions, ask in the comments, but as I've said a lot, the air dribble helps the most because if the ball goes low or if the ball goes high, if you have a good air dribble you can go to ceiling every time, whereas if it's not the best, you can only go to the ceiling when the ball goes high. So I highly recommend learning mechanics and gaining height of air dribbles. So that's the end of this video, hopefully it's helped. It was quite a lot to edit together, so please give it a like and sub if you've enjoyed it or helped you. And see you in the next ones. The next tutorial will be a Jaxie pop, so make sure to stay tuned and turn the bell on for that. And see you in the next videos hopefully, and see you later.